Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Men Do Therapy. I am your host, Rene Garcia. Very happy for you to be here for episode 2. What I want to talk today about is Mental Health Awareness Month, and really the big question that I consistently get ever since I entered this career is, when do I need a therapist? I have answered this question a couple times in a couple different podcasts, including my own, and it still keeps coming up. So I thought it'd be a really great place to start out with, and also talk to you a little bit about May as Mental Health Awareness Month. We are officially here. It's May 2021. And even though it's just been the weekend, and I'm recording this on a Monday, May 3rd, the memes, the hashtags, the posts coming from your favorite Instagram or social media people has been pretty strong, being aware that it is making sure you're aware that it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So a little bit of history about it is going back to MentalHealth America. They were the organization that really pioneered May being Mental Health Awareness Month. They're a nonprofit organization, I believe, and they do a really great job every year of putting out information. And in fact, I'm looking right here at my computer right now, and what they did is they actually put together a toolkit. All right, so a toolkit with their information, hashtags, things you can do in your community, as well as a lot of great little facts. Like, for one, let me just read some of these fun facts for you, or fast facts, excuse me. Among people who took a screening at their website in 2020, past trauma was the second most reported cause for mental distress among screeners after loneliness. Another fast fact, people who have been through trauma are 3 times more likely to experience depression. Another interesting information they had was that apparently 1 in 5 people experience some type of significant depressive disorder. So again, I don't want... It's weird. Like, social media is weird. Like, of course, we want to make sure that we're getting the information out and people are sharing stuff that they feel passionate about, and they want to make sure that they're jumping on the trend of making sure we're sharing mental health information. But I think that one of the most important things to remember is that this is very real, and this is absolutely impacting people's lives. And let's not make it kind of a trend. Let's make this to where it's something that people are getting actual information out of that can be very helpful for them. Mental Health America has a lot of great free information, as well as places and a list of services and places you can go to get therapy, and local chapters and things like that. And so definitely check it out. I'll go ahead and link it in the comments section. I've been kind of peeking around at it, getting ready for this episode, and I think it's really awesome. And so however you celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month, I hope you do it openly, loudly, and let's do our best to take the stigma away. All right? So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about today's topic: when do I ask for therapy? Before we do that, I also want to give a shout out to 2 people that have made this Men Do Therapy thing all possible. I mentioned a second ago that I did have a podcast for a second, and although I enjoyed it just because I love the platform and I love mental health and I like talking, I thought it was a really fun thing to do. They're a lot of fucking work. Like, I can't... It's so mumuch work. I remember staying up hours editing this stuff and making sure every sound was out or every bad sound was here. You know, I was so anal about stuff that I drove myself crazy doing it. And I think that's probably why I lost the joy out of it. And so one of the things that I wanted to do with this show was figure out who is out there that could help me out to make this vision come true and come forward. And I have 2 people I want to shout out with. Number 1, it's Eric of Crown Visuals. I'm going to put his information at the bottom, and if he's smart, he'd probably do something cool right here, right now, to include his website information. Eric, aka Gansito, for all my Twitch people who are watching this, is a great dude. Can help with graphics for your business, can help for your graphics and editing, video editing, like he's doing for this. And so I want to give a shout out to him. And the second person I want to give a shout out is to Angelica Ocampo. This is a friend of mine. I met her through one of my fraternity brother's wives, and obviously being in the Greek organizations in college, and you kind of get to meet a lot of people. And she helped me not only do the graphic arts for my graphic design for my private practice, but also the Men Do Therapy logo. And I just cannot tell you how fun and creative she is, and really heard what the vision of Men Do Therapy was, and really worked hard on creating the logo. And she's just awesome. And so I believe her Instagram page is Angie Marie Creative. And I'm going to go ahead and put all their information in the comment section. So please check out their stuff, like their stuff. Really cool people. And they've just been great to work with. And so I can't say enough. So thank you to you both. This would be nowhere without you all too. And hopefully it can continue to grow more and more. All right. Okay. Enough of the mushy stuff. So let's talk about, when do we go seek therapy? I get this question so much. And I enjoy this question. I don't mind answering it because I do feel there's a lot of negative and false information about it. So one of the things that I keep saying that, one of the things, and there's a number of things when we talk about when to go seek therapy, but the fact that you're even asking that question, I think is something to take into consideration. Like, apparently for you to be even considering going to mental health treatment, I think there's got to be something that's telling you, or someone that's telling you, I think it may be a good idea. That voice can be internally, that voice can also be externally. And so I think you have to ask yourself, if it's coming from external places, you got to ask yourself, well, why would they want to tell me this? What is going on that they're thinking that this may be a good idea? So if someone is suggesting to you that mental health treatment may be an option, you kind of have to put yourself in their position. What would make them refer you to seek mental health treatment? One of the most common answers to that question is that the people that are referring you, or they're wanting you to go seek treatment, chances are they've done all they could. And that's not a bad thing. That's just them accepting the fact that, you know what, they are good at a number of things in their lives, and they have skills for a lot of things that they have probably been through and gone through in their lives. But helping you get through this mental health experience or something that's impacting your mental health just might not be in their skill set. That's not a bad thing, all right? That's not a bad thing. It's probably one of the most honest things, and probably one of the most hardest things people can do, is to admit that there's only so much they can do to help you out. Notice how I haven't really discussed your actions yet, or the things that you have been actively doing to get them to get to the point for recommending you to go seek treatment. I just want you to focus on the fact that there's people who care about you, care about themselves, care about the people around them, that are suggesting that you go and seek treatment. It's not easy for people to say that to you, or to suggest that to somebody else. And I would also bet that they have probably made other efforts to combat whatever they're referring you to, or the reason why they're referring you. So I don't want you to think or take into, how can I say this? I don't want you to automatically assume that they're coming from a negative place, or they're trying to hurt you. They're probably coming from a place of great concern, and they're probably coming from a place of, we need to get this person help, and I don't know what else to do. This is not implying that you're a lost cause. This isn't implying that they have just given up all hope. I mean, I'm not going to speak for every situation, but I do think it takes into value. We have to take into consideration the value of someone saying, I think you need help outside of what I can offer you. The next thing I want you to think about is, what actions have been done or not done that have made people want you to go and seek help. This is a really tough situation. In my last video, I talked to you all about how I started my career in the recovery business, working with people with drug and alcohol use problems, or substance use disorders. In the 12-step program, there is a step where you have to do an inventory of all the things you have done while you are actively using. This is a step that once people would get to, they would look at it and then leave the program. That step is a step that many people have a hard time dealing with, because they actually have to go in and think about what are the things that I did to other people? How did my actions impact others? And to sit here and say that that's an easy thing to go through just on a Thursday is bullshit. So the fact that you have to take a step back and look at your actions or the inactions that you've done to make people to recommend you to go to therapy is a really tough situation. So I don't want you to do it alone. This is a really great place to think about it with some friends, put it on paper, to do it in a place where you're having support, because it can be very tough. Again, I don't want you to take this as an implication that you are burdening anybody or your problems or things are impacting others. That may be true, that may not be true. But all I'm asking you to do is to really kind of take a deep dive inside and ask yourself, why would they make this suggestion? What would make them make this suggestion? So 2 things so far. Number 1, who is making this recommendation? And 2, why are they making this recommendation? Okay, so once we've really kind of gone through these 2 things, now we can really talk about what is mental health treatment and who would be appropriate for it. So a lot of times I hear, I'm trying to think, people in public eye, people who want to talk openly about mental health, and it comes off very positive at first, right? They're, hey, you know what? We need to really fight the stigma, and we need to really say, you know what? I'm going to look at mental health and I'm going to do what I can to help others. And this is what I'm going to do. And so, I see a lot of times there's a lot of great positive energy at first, wanting to spread that word and really making sure that they do what they can to get the word out about seeking mental health treatment. And so many times I personally hear, again, this is my personal experience. I'm not going to speak for anybody else. My personal experience is they go into this story and it starts off saying, man, I was going crazy, bro. Oh, man, I didn't know what was going on. I was like at my wit's end. Like I could barely survive, bro. Like they always have this like really fucking huge story that ends up being some terrible situation. And then they go to therapy. So a couple things. I'm super glad they end up going to therapy. Great. The fact that they can even tell a story or their testimonial or whatever it is that they want to get internet points for or whatever it is, I'm being I'm being passive aggressive here, but any reason they want to share their story about mental health treatment and mental health engagement, I'm for it, and I think that's great. So I want them to keep doing that. Share the testimonial, share the destigmatizing message, share the hashtag, and do that. And I think that's really, really important. One thing to remember is that you don't have to be experiencing an emergency to go seek mental health treatment. I would even venture to say the more you have a foundation with a therapist when shit is going great, the better you are at handling shit when it is not great. All right? So be open to it. Don't let therapy be a last-ditch effort after you have exhausted all other situations. Now, obviously, I'm coming from a biased position because I am a therapist, but I think a lot of these situations can be thoroughly addressed with a great foundation relationship with a therapist out there. And, obviously I'm not speaking about the big stuff like schizophrenia or the big stuff like, major depressive disorder where you want to kill yourself. What I'm really mentioning is that when you have this relationship with a therapist and you've gotten to the point where you're checking in, like I have some clients where I see once a month. I have a client where I see a couple once every 3 months. I have clients where I see weekly. It doesn't really matter. The idea is that they have an established relationship to where if something is going bad, they can say, yo, Renee, I really want to come in for a second. It's more text. Hey, Renee, can I come in for a second? It's a session. I want to make sure I'm going in and handling some stuff or talking about some stuff that I really want to address. And that to me is one of the joyous things that I experience as a therapist is when they say, you know what, I do want to bump my session up because, man, I have so much stuff I'm going through and I really want to discuss it. And so don't, again, let therapy be the end-all, be-all of your mental health experience. The clinical perspective of it is I offer outpatient therapy. Outpatient therapy is the lowest level of care that is offered for mental health treatment individually. Now there's groups, like there's social groups like NAMI, there's groups like, AA and stuff like that. So, but those are group settings. But as far as individual mental health work, I am the lowest level of care. There's outpatient therapy. Above that is intensive outpatient programming, where people go maybe a couple times a week. It's usually 3 to 4 days a week, 3 to 4 hours worth of a class. They have a topic. They usually have sessions, specific curriculum they go over. The care above that, partial programming, where it's almost like a day program. These programs are maybe 5 times a week, 7 times a week. Some people go home. Some people will stay at like some kind of structured living, sober living, whatever it may be, but they basically spend a majority of the day in treatment. Those 4 levels of care, partial, intensive outpatient, 3 levels of care, partial, intensive outpatient, and outpatient levels of care are all considered and grouped outpatient therapy. So in other words, people, in order to even be qualified for these levels of care, are experiencing mental health issues, but not to the point to where it's impacting their daily functioning. They're able to take care of themselves. They're able to take their medications. They're able to take baths. They don't want to hurt themselves. They don't want to kill themselves. It's just kind of different structured levels of care. Above that are a couple of inpatient levels of care, such as a residential level of care, where people go for a couple weeks, couple months. That's usually when their mental health issues are pretty significant, and so those are a little bit longer lengths of stay. The care above that is inpatient. So this is where people actually do want to hurt themselves or hurt others, or they may be having psychiatric issues to where they're hearing things that aren't there, seeing things that aren't there. They have medical complications. They need 24-hour medical supervision. That's a pretty high level of care, but that's a very short level of care. Not a lot of people stay past maybe 6, 8, 10 days, depending on the significance of their issues, as well as, treatment availability around their areas. And then finally, above that is the detox level of care, which is people who are experiencing and using a lot of alcohol and drugs. Well, actually, detox is right under mental health inpatient. So right under inpatient, but essentially detox is also considered an inpatient level of care, where people are using some form of alcohol or drugs that if they don't detox it in a medical way, it could actually hurt them, possibly even kill them, depending on how much they're using. I give you all of that information, all right? All of that information just to let you know that if there's all these levels of care, and me at the very, very bottom, okay? I am not the worst place to be. Coming to see me for individual therapy or going to see an outpatient therapist is not the last straw. Quite opposite. It is a place where people can go, where things are going well, things are going, maybe they're concerned about some issues, they want some support. They want to be able to apply these skills that they're learning into their daily lives. And it's there to really assist in their development. And so I don't want you to, if you get anything out of today's video, it's that don't look at going to see therapy as the last thing you can do. Of course, I'm going to be biased here and uplift the therapy and social work community and have you go and develop a relationship with one right now. But I think I don't want you to look at it as the last place to go. Let it be part of your medical team. We have a dentist. We have a primary care doctor. We have a chiropractor. Let's add therapy to that. Let's add therapy to add a foundation and a structure for our care. So when things do go bad, the same way you may drive by an emergency room to know where it is close by your home, let's have a place to go when mental health issues arise. Because it doesn't have to be when things are terrible. I would even venture to say, without an established therapist, when things do get terrible, it makes asking for help even scarier. We want to decrease that. We want to decrease the hesitation. We want it to be a place where you go, you feel comfortable, that person knows you, and asking for help isn't a really scary thing. So I'm going to go ahead and link all these places for MentalHealth America, Crown Visuals, Angie Marie Creative, And I really hope you got something out of this video. Share comments below, like, share, subscribe. And yeah, I look forward to doing more of these. All right. Take care. Peace.